What we do here is go back.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome to episode 81 of the Lost Media podcast. Today we're talking about the Captain Midnight broadcast intrusion done on HBO in the 1980s. John McDougal was an antenna repair salesman and his business was declining due to HBO, so he decided, you know what? I'm going to use my expertise of how to overrun a broadcast because I know how to do this to overrun a broadcast because I know how to do this. And so he put up on the screen, "Good evening, everyone. This is Captain Midnight. $12.99 a month? No way. Showtime/movie channel, beware." This confused a lot of people. They had just started watching a movie, The Falcon and the Snowman, I believe it was called. And the movie was just going along nicely. There's a guy in a church. He's writing something, or reading something. Pretty sure he's actually writing something down. And then all of a sudden the signal gets all jammed and scrambled. And it comes up on screen. And it stays up on screen, this note, for about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Just white text over color pattern. And nobody knows what the hell is going on. Everyone's sitting at home like, what the heck is this? What? And it's kind of missing the point in a way. You know what he was doing, but he's sending this out to people who want to watch HBO because they're watching HBO. So they're willing to pay the $12.95 a month or $12.99 a month. And they're just looking at this like, fuck you, I'm paying this much for HBO and I can't even watch my damn movie. So it was a complete disaster, of course, for HBO. But this guy was doing an honorable thing. Anyone who was trying to run an antenna repair business, did I say honor thing or honorable thing? I think I said honorable, but it sounded weird. Anyone trying to run that sort of business at the time was getting destroyed by HBO. I'm not sure exactly why. I think because it's a different network. It's cable and isn't run through antennas. And everyone was joining HBO because it was just movies and new releases and all sorts of cool stuff. And it charged money. And he was pissed off. He's like, no, this is a ripoff. It's ruining my business. Screw you guys. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Now, this is a Lost Media podcast because a week before he did the Falcon and the Snowman broadcast intrusion, he did another one as a test to see what it would look like. This one was really brief and obviously didn't spark enough alarm bells at HBO because if they recognized this, they would have been able to take the second one off air instantly because they would have had the practice of an original one. But he just tested it to see, does this work? And I don't think it was for very long. Nobody knows what time it was done at, what movie or show it was going through. I think it was just a movie channel at the time, HBO. And everyone was just not able to uncover this. And I don't think this is ever going to be found. I think this was just a really brief test intrusion. And HBO probably doesn't even have this in their archives, but it is lost. It counts as lost media. And this whole topic in general fascinates me. And the two topics I'm about to talk about, including this one, have some lost media associated to them, but the actual story behind what happened is crazy. So this guy is on a phone call in a payphone, and allegedly, according to the story from the news, or from the Lost Media Wiki at least, someone overhears him confessing to the broadcast intrusion. And the FCC comes and knocking at his door. I think that's a cover by the FCC for basically not wanting to admit they were tapping into his phone call. I don't think anyone was hearing this guy near a payphone. No one can usually overhear a payphone call unless they're literally standing right next to the person who's there. Or they're, if it's in a telephone box back in the day, this is the 80s. Yeah, it makes no sense to me. I'm pretty sure McDougal knew he was being listened to anyway. So I'm pretty sure they bugged his phone call and were able to just be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the guy. He's done this. And so he was offered he was fined $5,000 and was also offered unsupervised probation for a year. I say offered, that's how they usually say it. They say they offer this to people, but they've got no choice. They just say it like that. And his amateur radio license was suspended for 1 year. Pretty big penalty, if you ask me. Pretty unreasonable considering this dude's just trying to, do his freedom of speech. If you're able to rig this and you're smart enough to overrun the systems, I don't think you should be punished for it. I don't think you should be punished for beating a system. Fun fact about this: when this came up on screen, the HBO engineer, he was trying to overrun it with more wattage by using more power. I think it was using McDougal was using 500 watts or something. It says it here on the Lost Media wiki how much electricity he was using. So yeah, it was like 125 to 2000 watts that it could go to. I think McDougal was using like 500 watts to overrun the broadcast, and so HBO turned up its wattage to 2000. I think he might have been at 125, I think. And McDougal's like, fuck you. And he turned up his wattage to 2000. And HBO themselves were like, oh shit, we could overrun our whole systems and be completely screwed here if we go any higher in wattage. So we just got to wait until he turns this off, if he turns this off. It was too risky for them. I can't imagine what that did to his power bill. If HBO are worried about using too much electricity, blowing the joint and overrunning their systems, he might have had some electricity problems where he was. No idea if he did this from his home or from like some sort of special location, a special building that could do this. No clue. They were worried that a further increase could potentially have damaged Galaxy One. Don't know what that is. I'm pretty sure that's their power grid. And HBO ended its control battle, and McDougal shortly ended the pirating transmission anyway after 4 minutes and 30 seconds because he was seriously worried about being caught, which he was eventually caught. So this episode of the Lost Media podcast talking about this incident is someone that was caught. But you can already imagine what I'm going to talk about next. It's been talked about thousands of times over the internet. In fact, I think it's one of the most covered topics on the internet, but people like seeing other people's takes on it and other people's perspectives on it. Max Headroom incident. That's what's coming up next on the Lost Media podcast. I rarely say the video that's coming up next. I like it being a surprise for my viewers, but yeah, why not? I got to at least be honest that everyone's covered it. I don't want to be like having that come up and people's recommend. They're like, oh, fuck, another video on the Max Headroom incident. I just want to let you guys know now. It's coming. I'm going to give my perspective on it because I've been researching it for years. But this one I've been researching for years as well. And it is just so funny and fascinating that this guy decided to go this far. He decided to put this up on the screens of HBO. Good on him, honestly. What a legend. I will never conceal my frustration with how people get fined and how they get in trouble for beating the system. I always think that, like, how many things can you fine people for, including breaking the law? This is technically breaking the law, obviously, but there should be rules in society where if you beat a system, if you're smart enough to overrun something that should be impenetrable, then you don't get any penalties because you've actually beaten things. There's all sorts of things that covers. The most famous is Julian Assange, of course. Julian Assange. But yeah, I don't like it when someone is using their freedom of speech, very big in America, not very big in Australia where I live. And this is a public broadcast. It's gone from HBO, a pay subscription channel, to an open forum for this guy's messages, which I think is, considering he's able to do it, I think it's pretty hilarious that he just decided, you know what, fuck this. This is my you're on the mic. What's your beef? You're on the TV. What's your beef? It would be funnier if he had his own voiceover attached to this instead of just the text. So he just like started screaming into a microphone over and over. Good evening, HBO. This is Captain Midnight. Showtime/movie channel. Beware. $12.99 a month? No way. And he just kept saying that over, and I'm so sorry to the audio listeners, by the way. I should have given a warning that I was about to just start fucking screaming into the mic. I apologize, guys, because this mic can peak really easily. That was so annoying. Sorry, guys. Sorry. That also peaked. Yeah, I'm just a freaking failure. At this point, that would have been the cherry on top to HBO's Captain Midnight Intrusion, to his grand intrusion of this. When it comes to the lost media associated to this, because it is the Lost Media podcast, there has to be some sort of lost media attached to this. Yeah, I don't think that'll be ever found. I want to find more news reports about Captain Midnight. I hope there's more recordings that are found over the years that someone randomly did on their VHS tapes that get uncovered that talk about this incident. Because that's lost media as well. That counts. But the test transmission a week before would have been done so late at night when no one was watching, no one was manning the television station. Like 1 or 2 people would have shown up for a split second or two so that he didn't get caught. And so his real broadcast intrusion he wanted to do in prime time wasn't destroyed. I just feel so sorry for anyone trying to record this on VHS. They wanted a good copy of The Falcon and the Snowman back in the 80s, so they didn't have to buy it on VHS because they cost a lot back then. They just wanted a TV recording to watch it back, and they've missed 4.5 minutes of the opening of the film because of this douchebag's message on screen. Nah, I actually respect this guy. I always have. Ever since I first heard about this, I respect John McDougal, honestly. It's great. I love when this stuff happens and when someone has the ability to do this, because it just is boring as all hell. Television and controlled media, it's so boring. And when someone's able to overrun something, it's awesome. I hope it happens one day with a YouTube live stream, even though that's probably impossible. I think it's proven to be impossible. It would be so funny if someone hacked into a big YouTuber's account while they were going live, ended their stream and then started their own stream with the same account, and then ended their stream and then let them start again. Even just to say, yeah, man, this stream is going really well. Good stuff. Ends the stream, lets the other person get control of their account back. That would be funny. A modern day broadcast intrusion on YouTube. That'd be hilarious. I know a lot of accounts were hacked in like 2016, 2017, and they changed the title to, this is just a friendly hello from your hackers. We're not doing anything malicious. This will go away in a day. So they said something along the lines of that. They said there's shitty hacking organization that was cringe as all hell. And it's like, this is just a friendly hello from us. And it was on every big channel. It was on Leafy is Here, H3, iDubbbz, all the big ones at the time. Filthy Frank, I think. Yeah, I remember that very vividly. Someone like that who has the ability to hack anything should do that just for fun. It has to be on a big live stream though. It has to be on a big event, like some shit that what's his face is doing. Ludwig. Anyway, guys, that's all there is really to it. I hope the lost media gets randomly found someday. Don't think it ever will. It's too obscure, too brief. But you never know. HBO might have it in their archives of if they've recorded all their programming since they started. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope I played the long HBO feature presentation intro behind me as well. I love that. That's it. Actually, before I go, I should say $12.95 a month that's a freaking lot for one channel. For one channel, you're offering that much. I see what McDougal means, and that's in USD as well. In the 80s. Jesus. Okay, that's ridiculous. That is a lot of fucking money to charge for just your stupid movie channel. Anyone who bought this channel and was watching this broadcast intrusion was really rich and really pissed off in their mausoleum, sitting on their leather couch with a glass of brandy or Chardonnay. This has got to end. Thanks, guys, once again. The end. I really appreciate the support. I'm trying to make more topics that you guys are really interested in, and not just my own personal passion projects. I really feel like there's an audience for these topics, for this one in particular. And please don't be afraid to suggest stuff in the comments. Try to suggest something that the lost media community and a bunch of people are really interested in, because of course I want to reach a bunch of people with this podcast and I want it to succeed, obviously. That's a no-brainer on YouTube after going for 9 years nearly with nothing. 8 years nearly with nothing, not 9 years. I think I'm over 8 years now. Oh my god, this has to end.